This working? Okay, we live over there. Queen Miss Cece, how you doing? How you doing? Where's the live stream at over here? What's going on with you tonight? There we go. Share this to my group. And let's share this to my other page, and then we're gonna get started. Boom, there we go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So as I mentioned, I talked about last week, but like I said, I've been sick, man. My voice still not all the way there. But last week, man, I told you guys I was writing a new book and that I was going to take you all on the journey with me as I write this book. So I'm so excited. I've never done this before. I think I'm on book number 9. I'm crazy. I can't even remember. I think I'm on book number 9. I've never done this before. I've never. Normally, I would just write the book and then promote the book, but I said I want to take everybody on the journey with me as I write the book. So now, if any of you decide that you want to write a book, so first I was talking about last week about me coming up with the title and everything, and now tonight I want to talk about the preparation and also start digging into chapter 1. So I've helped a lot of people write books over the past 10, 15 years because one of the things that people have issue with, or people that one of the things that make people afraid of writing a book is thinking about the whole complete book. Like, how am I going to write this whole 200 page or 250-page book? And people are so afraid of that final finished product that they don't excuse me, that they don't start. So with me, one of the preparations is understanding, right? I'm only trying to write 2 pages a day. I'm not trying to write 10 pages and 20 pages a day. I'm trying to write 2 pages a day. Now, 2 Microsoft Word pages comes out to be about probably four, or let's just stick with four. It comes out to be 4 pages in an actual 8 by 5 book. So if you write 2 pages a day for 30 days, you have 60 Microsoft Word pages, but you have 120 pages for a book. You write 2 pages a day for 90 days, it's even more. So that's where I'm at. I'm typically in between that 60 and 90 range because what the 2 pages a day for 90 days is 180. And then from there, it's like around like what's that, 320 pages. Well, I don't want a book that's, I'm saying, that big. So between that 60 and 90 days of writing, rewriting, and your first draft, second draft, third draft, like that. So I'll finish a book in around 90 days once I start writing. That's not the process from concept to finish. From creating the concept to finish, it's probably about for me about a 6 month process. Don't let that scare you. Um, but for me, my preparation is I always have a lot of different ideas in my mind. I listen to things that people are talking about, things that are bothering people, things that people need help with, or oftentimes things that most times things that I need help with, things that I went through. And so I always have a bunch of notes and my notes on my phone. So I'm constantly going through them all the time. And typically when something hits me the hardest personally, that's what becomes what I write about. And so once I choose, all right, this is what I'm going to write about. I have this idea. So I had the idea of killing yesterday, um, probably last summer. Yeah, probably last summer or last spring. But had a lot of issues going on in life, so I didn't in the 6 month period like I normally would. I didn't get it done because I had a lot of stuff going on. Plus, I had a lot of things that I actually had to confront in order for me to write this book, in order for me to get the information, because I had to deal with killing my own yesterdays before I can write about and teach and help anybody else kill their yesterday. So in preparation, I had to live it. I had to face my biggest fears of yesterday. I had to face the things that created maybe some insecurities in my life. I had to face some things that created some abandonment in my life. I had to face some things that made me feel like I wasn't appreciated. I had to face everything that was in my past that I drug to my present, that was hindering me from being my best self. So I don't know if I don't know if every writer goes through this. I don't know. I know it's this is what I go. This is how God gives me messages. This is how God gives me things that he want me to bring to the world. So I don't know if everybody goes through it like this, but I do. So that's a part of my preparation, is always living what I'm teaching. Like, I'm not just giving you no fillers. I'm not just giving you something I read in the book. As I said before, you get something from me, you are getting something that I went through and how I actually got over or overcame the thing that I was dealing with. So a part of my preparation is living it. So once I'm living it and I'm just going through all the ideas as I'm overcoming, obviously, I'm one of my things is reading. I I read on whatever subject I got going on. I'm reading, 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 reading. I typically read about 40 to 50 books a year. And I'm normally reading like this might sound crazy, yo, but I'm normally reading like 4 books at a time. Something I didn't used to do. My brother Carl Day put me on this. That's what he used to do. I was like, bro, how you reading 4 books at a time, man? You should only read one. And so shout out to Pastor Carl Day for that. I start reading like 4 books at a time that are on the same thing, like 20 minutes a piece for each book every day. And I'm getting more and more information on what I'm dealing with, how to overcome what I'm dealing with. And like, one of my greatest gifts is taking very complicated information and breaking it down in a way where people can understand it easily. So when you get things like, cause like I've been studying neuroscience for the past 4 years. A typical person reading neuroscience is probably like, yo, this is just so hard to understand. But it's my gift that I can read complicated things in neuroscience and then use those things to and then break them down in a way that everybody can understand and make it applicable. So I learned very difficult things. And I'm like, okay, all right, how do I apply this to my life? Then I apply it to my life. I see how it works. And then that's when I start creating my notes for a book, because you don't just start writing. You gotta have the chapter titles. You gotta have the points that you want to make in each title. And so I'm taking my time with this, probably a process of just a couple of months, where I'm just putting together each chapter, and then I'm putting together the points that I want to make on each chapter, and I'm going back over all of my notes, over all the things that I applied, and I'm going back over all of my notes from the books, and I'm taking out the excerpts of the books that I want to use, because I always want to send you to other books as well, because I think a great book is always supposed to send you to more books. That's the way I feel, because when I read one book, I'm ordering another book. As I end up reading so many books. So I'm choosing what excerpts I want to use to facilitate what thought, to facilitate what point, to facilitate what um, exercise you might be doing. And so I'm putting all of that together. So I have my chapters, I have my points for each chapter, and now I know what I want to write about. Once I have that, my thing, I meditate. That's my thing. If you most of the time, because I most of the time I'm writing, well, most of my writing time is spent meditating. Because again, I'm only writing 2 pages a day. So typically my writing time is from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. So think if you're writing for 4 straight hours, then you're going to be writing a lot more than just 2 pages. But I'm not. I'm only writing 2 pages a day. So I spend most of my time in meditation, just allowing the content to come to me, like just allowing, God to just download, what he wants in the book. And so I spend a lot of time just, with my eyes closed. I'm rereading the chapter before. Shoot, if I wrote 2 paragraphs, I'm rereading those paragraphs over and over, and just getting in that flow. I'm reading the notes that I have for that chapter, more so getting in that flow, getting in that flow, getting in that flow. And in that's what allows me to begin to write, and write to the standard that I've set for myself as an author. So living it, um, overcoming it, taking time to create my point, taking time to create my, oh man, this cold is killing me. Taking time to create my chapter titles, then my points, and then after that we start writing. So again, my your brain, this is a neuroscientific fact. Your brain is most optimal at between 4 and 6 a.m. That's when your brain is really firing on all cylinders. I know a lot of people feel like, that they're not morning people. I don't consider myself a morning person either, but I just know I gotta, I like to get up when nobody's calling my phone, and I don't have any distractions. But then that was just something I was just doing on my own. And then later on, I found out that that's the premium time for your brain, to operate at its optimal peak. So I continued that habit. So I write from 4 to 8 in the morning, and that's what I do. So now let's start talking about the actual book. So we're gonna deal with we're gonna deal with some of chapter one today. So if you're just tuning in, or you didn't see my video announcing the book, the title of the book is Killing Yesterday, Creating a New Day for a New You. So the concept of the book is many of us have dealt with so much stuff in our past that our past has become a monster in our life, and it is hindering us in the present from being the best version of ourselves in order to create the best future for ourselves. And so we have all of these different past hurts, all of these different past traumas, all of these different past experiences that have changed and altered who we are. Like if you're dealing with some kind of insecurity, that's because something happened in your past that make you feel insecure. If you're dealing with doubt, there's something in your past that made you feel insecure. I mean, that made you create that doubt that you have now. And so what this book is about facing those things and facing the monster that yesterday has become, and killing that monster, and then creating a new day instead of allowing yesterday to have a hold on you. You're creating a whole new day, a day that puts you in position to prosper the way you want to prosper. So in that, you will create a new day for a new you. So first question I asked as I was writing is, what is yesterday? What is it? Like, really, what is yesterday? For me, right, I'm 43 years old. I feel like I've lived 5 different lives. Like, I feel like I've lived 5 totally different lives. Like, I was a totally different person doing totally different things. And sometimes when I think about stuff when I was like 16 or 20, maybe even 30, sometimes I'm like, yo, did that really happen? Like, it was so long ago. I'm like, is that a real memory, or is that something that I dreamed about one night? Like what I believe happened, did it happen? Now, these things typically, at least to my recognition, are things that actually happen. But it was so long ago that I begin to question it. And then when I start to think about that, it's like I begin to question all of my yesterdays, like all of the things that I believe happened in my yesterday, have they actually happened? So when I start to have to confront some of the way I feel about the past, I'm like, well, shoot, was I really a victim in every situation I think I was a victim in? I'm like, your present self-image is going to project on your past. So if you're feeling like a victim right now, when you look at your past, you're gonna see your past, everything in your past from a victim mentality. Every conversation, every argument, everything that happened, you're gonna look back and you're gonna see yourself as a victim in every situation, even when you might not have been the victim, but because your present self image feels like a victim, you're going to view yourself as a victim in that. So I begin to challenge how I personally felt about my past. So what is yesterday? Where can you go to touch yesterday? Where can you go to check yesterday to see if what you think happened is what actually happened? Where can you go to relive yesterday? Where can you go to meet someone yesterday? Right? How would it even sound if you said to somebody, "Hey, let's meet up yesterday"? You would look at somebody crazy. You would look at somebody crazy if they say, "Hey, yo, what's up? Listen, I'm gonna meet you yesterday, and we gonna talk about what happened." Can't meet somebody yesterday. So so where is it? So now the question that I begin to conceptualize myself, Lil, what's going on, brother? Is if yesterday doesn't really exist, if it's not tangible anywhere and it's no longer happening, why am I bound by it? Lil, let's get together, man. I'm back in the city. Why am I bound by it? Again, if yesterday does not exist, because where does it exist, right? If it's not tangible and if it's no longer happening, why am I bound by it? Why am I living today by what I think happened yesterday? Why am I, how can something that no longer exists still be creating who I am today? So every day I'm walking around being this person that I became from something that does not even exist anymore. What is yesterday? Now, right, we just think about yesterday as and when I say yesterday, I'm not talking about the day before today. I'm doing good, bro, man. I'm doing real good. I'm proud of you, man. Real proud of you. When I say yesterday, I'm not talking about the day before today. I'm talking about every day before today. I'm talking about what you think happened last year. I'm talking about what you think happened 5 years ago. I'm talking about what you think happened 10 years ago. I'm talking about what you think happened 20 years ago. And I say what you think happened because our memories are not trustworthy. We cannot trust our memories 100%. I know that sounds crazy. Even in a court of law, an eyewitness is not enough testimony to to actually convict somebody sometimes because you remember things wrong. So what is yesterday? Now, typically I don't define things by what they aren't. But with yesterday, that's how I feel like I can't define it by what it is because I don't feel like it's nothing. But I know what it isn't. And when I can understand what yesterday isn't, then I can recognize what I need to do in order for it to take the grips of it off of me. So yesterday is something that is not tangible. It's not tangible. You can't touch it. You can't experience it with your senses. You can't see, feel, taste, hear, or smell it. So if it's not tangible, how it got so much hold on me? How it got so much? How can something that does not exist hold me? So now what I'm challenged to do is when I think about, and this is chapter one, so we just diving in to what's in the beginning of chapter one here. What I what I can't what I have to do is look at it and recognize, all right, listen, this thing happened, or maybe it didn't happen, or whatever it is. But either way, let's just say it happened. That pain happened yesterday. Okay, boom. Where the chain? Where the closed door? Where's the lock on the window? It don't exist. So now I got to look at it like, all right, so all right, that happened. And so what we do is something happens to us, and then we want to create these defensive mechanisms to make sure we don't go through the same thing over again. And then we're not dealing with that same thing. So we still got this defensive mechanism that we don't need. But the defensive mechanism is now blocking us from everything else because we have a mechanism to fight a yesterday that don't exist. I hope that's making sense. I hope that's making sense, right? So we have a yesterday that does not exist. Boom, something happened, but it's over. It's 10 years ago. And I'm not just saying get over the past. And I want you to just just walk through this with me. You had an event that happened. So now you don't ever want to feel that pain again. So you develop some kind of mechanism to make sure you don't go through that pain again. Boom. But then you never have that experience again. But you still living with this, this defensive mechanism. It's like think about this, right? Say you can't swim and you get in the water and you put a life vest on. So you get in the water with the life vest on. The life vest is a mechanism to prevent you from drowning in the water. Now it makes perfect sense to have the life vest on while you're in the water. You're gonna look crazy when you get out the water on the dry land and you still walking around with the vest on. Now it's hot. The sun is beaming on you. You sweating because you walking around with this mechanism on you that does not fit the situation that you're in now. And this is what we do psychologically and emotionally. We create things that we need for a situation that is no longer happening. So yesterday is not tangible. And since it's not tangible, it can't hold you. So I really need you to think about the things that have been holding you back. Think about the pains that have been, holding you back. But then move from there, right? The next thing I want you to think about is what did what changed about you after the situation happened? What did you decide, right, that you know what, this is what I'm going to do in order to protect myself from this situation. And I want you to think about that. What did you begin to do? What behaviors did you begin to exercise? What ideas did you begin to believe in order to prevent yourself from ever falling victim to whatever the problem was in the past? Then I want you to ask yourself, is that problem still occurring in my life? And if that exact problem is not still occurring in your life, it's time for you to let that mechanism go because that yesterday is not happening today. That yesterday is gone. This is one of the ways that you kill yesterday. You can't bring the tools or the what word am I looking for? You can't bring the tools or basically that defense. You can't bring a defense from a past problem to the present because the present is going to have its own problems. But if you still walking around with the allegorical life vest on when you're not in the water anymore, all it's going to do is prevent you from being the best version of yourself where you are now. So yesterday, that's point number one in the book. Yesterday is not tangible. And since it's not tangible, it should not have a hold on you. And again, I don't want anybody to listen to this and feel like I'm downplaying your experiences, that I'm downplaying your trauma, that I'm downplaying your hurts, because I'm not. That is not in any way what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you went through it. You are see, this is the crazy part, right? We go through some crazy traumas, and then we feel like it hurt us so bad that we didn't win. But if you are still here, you won. So we talk about overcoming trauma, but the fact of the matter is you already overcame. If you are still here, you already overcame the trauma. It's us that continuously give that past thing power. It's us that continuously give that past thing strength. It's us that continuously gives that past thing life. You already overcame it. And what I'm saying now is, since you have already overcame whatever you had to deal with yesterday, and since that thing is not tangible, it's time for you to let go of fighting it, because you've already killed whatever it was from yesterday. So yesterday, what it isn't, it's not tangible. So I'm gonna come back on tomorrow, 8 o'clock, right here, and we're going to get into more of chapter one, and dealing with what yesterday is not, so we can understand how to kill yesterday.